What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first ever Tap Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tim Otley. I'm joined by my hypothetical partner in crime, Alfred Juchudis.
Hello.
And as he'll be known on this show, the ghost of the internet, Chris Ruggieri.
Hey.
So what's going on, fellas? How's your day going?
My day's going well. Woke up at like noon, which is,
Sweet.
that was my good old college wake-up routine. So nothing wrong with that.
I hooked up a rough night last night, so working through it, clearing the fog.
That's always good. How was your day, Chris?
Not bad. I got up at like 7 though, so
Jeez.
slightly different lifestyle.
What the hell are you doing? Cutting coupons?
Weekend warrior.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So as this being our first podcast, we're going to be working out the kinks. So bear with us. But I think we'll start off with a very simple topic. We'll just introduce ourselves, say a little bit about ourselves.
Sure.
So I'll go first.
Okay.
My name is Tim.
I didn't know that.
Ooh, nice to meet you. I've been writing about video games for about 3 years now, and Al and I started Tap Gaming as a passion project. So I'm excited to be here. Al, tell us about yourself. Most intimate thoughts.
Well, my name's Al. I turn 28 in a few more weeks, 21st of March. So I'm a spring chicken, spring baby. Co-founded Tapped Gaming. I have a love for gaming, been playing games pretty much my entire life. My brothers, I'm the youngest of 4, so my brothers really brought me into the fold with video games. So, just been basically playing all different types ever since NES. I've been playing games, and I just have a really a fondness for them. And yeah, so far we've come here.
Yeah, you played some NHL 95 recently. You should watch it on our YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, and Tim's played some Warface. Check out his videos too.
It's not as good as Al's video, but
Hey, what are you gonna do?
I digress. Chris, you're up next.
Alright. So I'm Chris and I'm a software engineer professionally. Video games is just basically my hobby. And I guess I'm just a contributor here.
He's the only one sitting at this table who has a real job.
Yeah, I love it.
So, all right. Well, now that the ice-breaking exercise is over, we're gonna move on to what we've been playing recently. I will let you go first, and we'll work our way around.
Oh, changing it up. All right.
Keep it interesting.
Well, what have I been playing recently? I've been playing, obviously NHL 95. I've been playing some Madden recently, Madden 25. I've been doing the fantasy part of that. So I always love fantasy sports in general. So owner mode and different segments of that I've been doing. That's really I can just spend hours doing that stuff, which is sweet. I've been playing Splinter Cell Blacklist. I know it's an old game, but you come to find with me, I have a lot of games that I really need to kick back into and actually start playing. I have a backlog, too damn much. I'm sure you feel the same way, guys.
Yeah, backlogs suck. Chris, what have you been playing? It's been piquing my interest.
Let's see. This past week I managed to work my way through the second and third episodes of the Dead Rising 3 DLC.
Oh, shit.
So, the second one was kind of boring. I think I have to play it again because they say that it's a story of redemption, and I didn't really understand what the character that you're playing as was trying to redeem. So I might revisit that. The third episode, that was fairly interesting.
Was that the Anarchy one?
Yeah, Chaos Rising is what it's called.
Yeah, does that have to do with the Mohawk?
Or
something.
something like that, yeah. That DLC adds 5 new weapons, a new combo vehicle, which is awesome. It's like a motorcycle that's comprised mostly of saw blades. So,
Nice.
very, very efficient zombie killing weapon. Let's see, other than that, yeah, that's about it this week.
Where would you put Dead Rising 3 in comparison to the other in the series, the other ones?
I'd have to say, in terms of the story, it's probably told the best. Although, where they try to explain some of the major plot points, some of the characters aren't very clear. But overall, I would say it's the most cohesive story.
That's good. Probably like the most refined out of them.
Yeah, I love the first Dead Rising. The second one, well, you and I had our fair share of issues with that. Trying to play it online, it was a fucking nightmare.
Just broken.
Well, the whole online party system was completely fucked. Like, if I saved the game, it would kick him out, or vice versa. If he saved it, it would boot me out. So I bought the game to play it cooperatively, and I was just like, I just got accepted with it. And also, I hated Chuck. Was it Chuck Green?
Yeah.
Fucking douchebag. So, but yeah, I don't know. From what you showed me at Dead Rising 3, I really liked it. I thought I'll definitely pick it up. Now I'm a proud owner of an Xbox One.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, the gameplay is easily the most enjoyable part of those games. So, if you enjoy killing zombies,
Yeah,
the game will
you can't, exactly. You can't.
You just do it for hours on
I
it.
was just in what? Like, you had that APC, and I just drove around the block, like, for 20 minutes, just fucking splattering zombies. So much fun.
Exactly.
Funny thing that you bring up about the brokenness and the in the online portion, because it reminds me a lot of when we were doing Call of Duty 2 back in the day for Xbox 360, and how ridiculous that was, where we had to like simultaneously jump in at the room in the lobby.
Yeah, Call of Duty 2 predated any type of party system, which really made no sense because games that came before it had party systems like Halo 2.
It was so broken. It was so fun though.
It was fun, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was broken. It was a definite flaw that they did patch it in later on. They kind of knew that they kind of fucked up, and they were like, all right, well, people bought this game and they can't play it with one another unless by some fucking magical chance they get put into the same game.
The funny thing though was that we'd have to call like our friends and be like,
"Get the fuck on! Join it now!" Damn, like we'd have to go in like very specific things. But I guess that leads into what I've been playing recently. Like Al alluded to earlier, I've been playing a lot of Warface, the beta on 360. I was able to briefly play the Titanfall beta before I went on vacation, which
thoughts?
It's gonna be the shiznit. I can't wait, dude. That game's gonna be so fucking good. What else? Played some Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare.
I really want to play that.
It's not bad. It's pretty limited in terms of what you can do. Like, it's still has the same kind of like tower defense mechanics, but it reminds me more of, you ever played Orcs Must Die? It's kind of like that, where like you go in, and I didn't, trust me, I played the game for only like an hour and a half, so I'm not by no means an expert on it, but you go in, you find a garden, you plant a garden, and then you have like little pots and planters all over the place that you can put in like basically support weapons, and then it's like horde mode.
Yeah.
The one I played was just survival mode, so you just continuous waves of enemies, and they give you objectives to do, and then
how many people can play it at once? 4? Or
I did a split screen with one other person, so I don't know. In terms online, you could probably play with a bunch of people, but it's cool. Like I would definitely want to give it some more time, but I would have rather had them put Plants vs. Zombie 2 on Xbox, to be honest. I'm more of a fan of the original than this shooter. It's not a bad game, but it's just not really my bag. So if you like it, it's cheap. It's only $40, and you can get it on 360, Xbox One. So
the really awesome thing that we were talking about before is the PSN games that are coming out this month. Freaking awesome list of games.
Yeah, I got that right here. Let's see. Well, yeah, we'll just jump right into that. Yeah, PlayStation, the PlayStation blog announced their March PS Plus games. So if you have a PS3, you're going to be able to get Tomb Raider for free. Thomas Was Alone.
New Tomb Raider, right?
No, Tomb Raider 1.
Oh, okay, cool.
They're going the route of games for gold. They're just getting really cheap and giving you super ass old games. But yeah, no. You're getting the new Tomb Raider on PS3. Thomas Was Alone, which is a fucking fantastic game. You should definitely play it. Lone Survivor, the director's cut. if you have PS4, you can get Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition for free. Unit 13 is going to be on Vita for free, and Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, that was originally a PSP game but is playable on Vita, will also be free. Those games aren't all coming out simultaneously; they're going to roll out over the course of the month.
What
as is the case with all PlayStation Plus perks.
What piques your interest out of those? I know you had
to be
Tomb
honest,
Raider.
I've already played and beaten Tomb Raider. I've already played, beaten Thomas Was Alone. But personally, I download the games anyways. I paid for PlayStation Plus, so even if I don't have Tomb Raider on PS3, so it'd be cool just to go through and play and blow through it again. It would have been really sweet if it was a definitive edition. But no, Unit 13 was a cool game. I was always a fan of SOCOM, and that was Zipper Interactive's last game, so I heard it was pretty good. I played the demo for it. It's not bad. I'd probably give that a go. Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter, it's too Japanesey. So
I love that new word just created on this podcast, Japanesey.
Japanesey. But yeah, in addition to the PlayStation Plus stuff, we have the new releases that are coming out. We can give you a quick update. This is stuff that came out. We're recording on Sunday, so this is stuff that came out this past week. You can get Thief on all major platforms. Like I said, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare came out. Tales of Symphonia Chronicles came out on PlayStation 3. New Professor Layton and the Azerin Legacy came out on 3DS. New Castlevania Lords of Shadow, the second one just came out on PS3 and Xbox 360. This game called Magus. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, I need to find out what that's about.
So, Pac-Man Museum came out on Xbox Live Arcade.
Love me some Pac-Man.
I was looking at the Pac-Man Museum. It's $20. So
maybe I don't love it that much.
Well, and I was looking at what's actually included in it, and surprisingly, it doesn't include. It has Pac-Man Championship Edition, but it doesn't have DX. So yeah, I'm not really sure if that's something that I don't think I could honestly spend $20 on it. Like it has a lot of good Pac-Man games in it, but I really think that just Pac-Man Championship DX is, or it's actually DX Plus now. I don't know. They had some update for it, but.
Speaking about games and developers, you were talking about Zipper before. Some recent news with Irrational Games closing out and Santa Monica getting hit with some layoffs. So, what do you think of that, Chris? In terms of the software developers getting hit hard?
I mean that sucks. But it's I doubt it's their fault. It's the games that they're making probably aren't doing well enough. So like the last game that Santa Monica developed was Ascension, right? God of War.
Yeah, I think they had a team that worked on that. I also know they had an IP that was in development that got canceled because of the layoffs. So yeah, unfortunately, when it comes down to it in the game development world, and you just now working in there's a lot of you work with people who have worked for how many different companies, and it's kind of an unstable environment, but I think that's what people have come to expect now. Your job, you have a little more security in terms of what you do.
Yeah, I mean we're not developing games all the time. Usually we're developing training stuff, but
yeah, so you have a little more stability. But when it came to Irrational, I guess the word around the water cooler was that BioShock Infinite sold, underperformed, which is kind of
surprising a little bit.
Well, it's also it's kind of scary about where game development's going.
I think the problem is, at least what I can see, and this kind of strikes back to the Tomb Raider, the newest Tomb Raider, is that I think companies, developers are getting too big too quickly or too big for their own good, and that's some of that has to do with the pressure to succeed and a lot of the money that goes into backing the marketing. You need a bigger team, but with that being said, if you have, let's say, 150 people working on a game, it's tough to make that voice consistent throughout the entire team.
Yeah, well, having uniformity, but it comes down to cost. A lesser known fact about the gaming industry is it's for people not for us, people like us who are really kind of in tune with what's going on, but people think that video games. I'm not going to necessarily say they think they're inexpensive to create. They're not. Most video games cost more than 99% of every a movie that comes out. There's movies like the Avengers and shit like that require
Astronomical.
They have hundreds of $1 million budgets because they know that those movies are going to perform well at the box office when they come out on DVD, Blu-ray, digital sales.
$50 million to Robert Downey. What?
Yeah, they can pay fucking Robert Downey Jr. exactly and give him like these ridiculous contracts and all this crazy shit. But when it comes to like a video game, like Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider game cost over $200 million to make. So when the game sold 3.5 million copies, the game was considered a failure. And the same thing happened with BioShock Infinite. The game was in development for years, and then it sold like the sales were. I guess they considered them soft in comparison to the previous two entries in the series. But that's crazy to think that a game grossed $240 million and it was deemed not successful. Like that's just kind of.
It's wild. I mean, it's very unfortunate, and
well, that's why I think that I think there is a place for AAA development, but I just think that it gets to a point where and this is kind of segue into our next news topic, but like look at a company like Rockstar, like with Grand Theft Auto, they get a blank check, like take as much time as you need, do whatever the fuck you want, and that game is one of the best-selling games of all time. It's the highest-grossing entertainment property ever. It's sold like 34 million copies.
That's what, like 6 years in development or so?
Yeah, 2008, Grand Theft Auto 4 came out. So
maybe like
it's like 5. It's probably in development for 5 or 6 years. I don't have a hard figure on that, but still, 34 million. That's close to $2 billion.
And it's going to keep selling.
That's insane, exactly. So it's like. And
especially digitally too.
Well, it's selling well digitally, but the GTA Online client is doing phenomenally well. I actually read something the other day that they have no intention of making a new Grand Theft Auto anytime soon because they're going to continue to support GTA Online. And that's the next thing that we're going to talk about is they're getting another update, free update on March 4th called the Business Update. So you're going to get new weapons, new clothing, shit like that. Also, their previous update, like the Valentine's Day Massacre thing, if you don't go into GTA Online and purchase those items, they actually disappear.
Yeah, aren't they expired? I don't know if it has expired. It's expiring soon, isn't it? The Valentine's Day?
I think it actually expires today. So
crap.
You're not going to see it today, so sorry. Sorry in advance. But yeah, it's
a lot of fun though, GTA Online. You and I both had the chance to really delve into it. I freaking love the survival mode. If you can get a group of people going, it's a whole bunch of fun. Of course, I piss you off because I'll go on my own accord. The way I play games is I just basically go on my own. I call it Lone Wolf.
We're all cannon fodder for Al.
Yeah, your meat shields. Your good meat shields.
Al goes and hides in a fucking corner while we're all getting slaughtered.
Hey, that last time I was way above in a building, all right? So, but...
I desperately wanted you to fall off of, but...
And I didn't. So, ha.
You don't always get it.
I know, unfortunate.
So, moving on.
Walking Dead. Speaking about that, today's Sunday. We're filming on a Sunday. New Walking Dead.
New episode. I still need to beat the first episode of Walking Dead Season 2. Then fucking slack.
I am under the idea of just letting it all come out. Because I hate... That's what I did with the first season, is I basically let it... let them release everything, and that way I could download everything at once and play them all through. Because with me, when I go into a game, I'm just going to play it all the way through.
Yeah, you can grind it out. That's one way of doing it. Just for me, I just like to be part of the conversation. So, I want to play it. I could... Obviously, if you wait, you'll be able to get it all at once, and you're going to be able to probably save money. Didn't you, get all of them for, dirt cheap?
Oh, yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, have you played any of the Walking Dead series yourself?
I actually haven't. I haven't even played the first season, even though I bought it.
Yeah, jump in on that.
Yeah, I got a huge backlog too. I just
next week
I play what I feel like playing. But,
and that's the way it should be.
That leads us into, I want to get your take on it because I haven't actually, speaking about backlogs and games, I haven't had a chance to play Wolf Among Us. What's your thoughts on that?
The second episode?
Just in general, I guess, how far,
I played the first episode, and it's fantastic. it's a really well done game, and I think it's something that it really shows that Telltale is not just like a one-trick pony. So I think for them to be able to, my own like when they it's actually funny, they announced that Fables game and Walking Dead at the same time, and now Walking Dead's like, what they're gonna have, they already have a completely first season done. They had the 400 days. Now they're on their second. They're gonna be working on the third episode, and they've only had 2 episodes of They've only had 2 episodes of Wolf Among Us. So I think it's fantastic. I think the characters are great. I never read the comics, so I don't really have any foundation, so for continuity or canon. So like I have no bias coming into it. So I still think it's a fantastic game, and I think it definitely shows Telltale's strength. And I think that the new stuff they announced, like the Game of Thrones and the Borderlands game they're doing, I think that I think they kind of have the staff now to do it. If it was just like a one team thing and they were just going to try to crush all this out, I would have been kind of concerned about the quality of the games that are coming out. But Wolf Among Us I think is fantastic. I still got to play the second episode. I kind of snoozed on that, but
it'd be funny if they did like funny and cool and badass at the same time is if they did something like I'm just going off track, but if they did like the Matrix series of movies, like if they were able to do that, that would be cool. Because I'm sure they would have the point of pick the red pill or the blue pill. And,
that'd be the first decision.
But and that's a little quick lead-in. I didn't know if you knew this, but the Wachowskis are actually working on a script for possible prequel to The Matrix. I guess they need some more money because the racing movie that they came out with.
Which one did they do?
Was it not Rad Raid? Jeez, shit, I'm losing it. They did that racing movie in the beginning. It had John Goodman in it. It was an anime.
Speed Racer?
Speed Racer. Yeah, they did that. And then they did that one with Tom Hanks, Halle Berry.
The Atlas. Atlas. Cloud Atlas.
And that did terribly. So I find it funny how some directors will like fall back into like, okay, let's go back to the movie that made us. There's a series of movies that made us.
Well, so, yeah, like they had the whole Matrix trilogy, and they were able to kind of. I think they got kind of to a point where they were like, okay, these movies were incredibly popular, incredibly successful. They had international appeal, and then they're kind of like, all right, now we want to get artistic. Because let's be honest, the last 2 Matrix movies, like Revolutions and Reloaded, haven't aged well. In fact, Revolutions is fucking garbage.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have to say, if I give credit to one thing that they did really well, immediately post Matrix, was V for Vendetta. I really liked that movie a lot. But we'll see what they do. I mean, doing prequel and like showing the stuff like that leads into the Matrix movies. Like now that I'm thinking of it, it's the same thing as freaking doing Terminator movies because, the machines take over. So, like, you're just going to basically be in competition to the Terminator movies where you just show, the evolution of the machines and taking over.
And what the thing is, I think they already kind of did that with the Animatrix.
They did.
They showed what happened, so it's kind of beating a dead horse. Like, would I go see it? Maybe. But, like, I'm not
curiosity.
I'm not chomping at the bit to be like, I'm going to go see a new Matrix movie because the last 2 kind of left a pretty sour taste in my mouth. Like, I liked Reloaded when it first came out, but having since watched it and...
Yeah, we were teenagers back then, man, like the CGI.
Years, I'm saying, and I used to think a lot of movies were good, and now I've come to find out in my later years that like Mission Impossible 2, garbage.
You bring up a good topic. I thought the Roughnecks, Starship Trooper Roughnecks was awesome and badass.
Why must you remind me of this?
And I watched it a while back. I was probably like 23 at the time. And so about 5 years ago.
We were younger than that.
4 years ago or so. But
I think we were still in high school, dude. We're old.
Yeah, we are old. Either way, though, I watched it, and I think the worst thing that you can come to find out watching something as a kid now that just it dates terribly awful is CGI like 90s CGI movies and like early 2000 CGI movies struggle to hold up. That's why I give a lot of credit to like Toy Story and stuff like that.
Well, also you got to look at the caliber of the studios that are doing it. Like, not many studios can compare to like Pixar, like DreamWorks, Pixar. Like their movies are timeless. Like, and also it's good stories. Like if you watch a show like fucking Reboot, it looks like fucking like I could take a dump in the toilet, and I'd be more entertained watching it flush down the toilet than watching Reboot, just because and the same thing goes for. You look at like sprite-based games that came out on Super Nintendo.
I love it.
They still look beautiful because like that's a timeless art style. And if you look at something that came out on N64 or even PlayStation 1 or a lot of Dreamcast games, they don't age well. They look like shit. Even like some PS2 game, like anything that is like PS2 generation back, if it's 3D. It's difficult to look at.
Exactly. I mean, is there anything that you've seen or watched or played or anything that you can recall that you've seen recently or played recently that you thought, just aged shitty?
Actually, yeah, I watched the original Transformers series on Netflix recently.
Not Beast Wars.
No. Like
Okay.
The original Transformers cartoon?
Yeah,
Oh.
the animated one, yeah. I remember I used to love that as a kid. And you would watch some of the action scenes, and it's just like, this is terrible. It's like, what was I thinking? It's like half of this doesn't even make sense.
That's what I'm saying. That's why some people they want to go back and watch old movies or old cartoons, and it's like you're really gonna learn something about yourself that you didn't want to learn. And it was the fact of the matter is, when we were kids, we were all fucking retarded.
That's very true.
We had we were incapable of discerning between quality and just simply being entertained.
Well, that's why I think the best thing to really look at is Batman the Animated Series, because that was hand drawn, and it holds up so well. Like, it's very adult oriented in certain aspects.
Oh, it's a very dark show. Like I watched it as a child, but I can go back and watch it now, and I don't know. I don't know if I should have been allowed to watch that. But.
Yeah, you don't lose anything with it. I mean, I would think you would agree, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that holds up very well. I mean, the only thing that's tough sometimes is it transitioned from, when it went from Fox to WB, the design went more kid-friendly.
I don't like gray and black Batman. It's kind of it's too Silver Age for me. It reminds me of, the black and white shit that predated, the Adam West show.
I agree with you on that, friend, and I hated how they did the Joker, because the Joker had black eye, black, whatever you want to call it.
Shadow?
No, his eye, instead of it being white here, it was black, and then he had white dots for eyes.
So instead of having it white-black, it was black-white?
Yeah, it was black-white.
So his pupils were white, and his actual eyeball was black.
Sorry. So the white in your eye.
You have...
Yeah,
exactly. So
the white in your eye was black, and then his
corneas were white.
White. It looked. I know it's the smallest fucking thing, but
still annoying.
It just brought up this kid vibe. Maybe there was just if we give him real eyes, he'll look too human and too scary. I don't freaking know. There was only maybe 1 or 2 episodes that I freaking loved in that, and one of them was, of course, of Dream, where I loved. It was a fantastic episode. I think it was a 2-parter or maybe a 3-parter, and it had to do with the fact that it was a dream sequence. Scarecrow, I believe, gasses Batman. He goes to sleep. He in the dream, the Scarecrow kills Batgirl, and then Jim Gordon finds out, obviously, that the Batgirl is Barbara Gordon. And he tracks down Batman because he basically is, believing that, the reason that she died is because of him, because she was brought on by Batman. So they basically do a manhunt for Batman. They find out that Batman is Bruce Wayne. They come in with freaking tanks, a shitload of military guys. And then
I remember this now.
Yeah, that freaking episode, awesome. And Bane comes, he's hired by Gordon to kill Batman. And freaking... he like rips out like the light for Batman, the bat signal, and he throws it at him, and then Batman's holding on to the ledge, and like I think he says something like, "It's your time to die, Bruce," and he's like. And Bruce is like, this doesn't matter anymore. I don't care about lives, or he just doesn't care about anything anymore.
Did you say it like
and
this? It's your time to die, Bruce.
Yes, he totally went Tom Hardy Bane voice, but friggin' it was fantastic.
Rises.
But it was awesome. I want to do the voice now too. Your time has come. But it was great, So I went on a little tangent there, but
You did. That's all right. That's what it's all about. So next thing up that I wanted to talk about, because I wanted to get your guys' take on it. Starting May 20th, Nintendo is discontinuing the online services, the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection for their Wii and DS games, which I don't actually think that's such a great idea, seeing how there's, 100 million Wii's in the wild, and there's over, 100 million DS's out there.
And how many we use?
Like 5 million. It's fucking Wii is so sad.
It is.
But
That's a taste for another story.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute, about the Wii U, but some of the big games are getting shut down. Like, you would think, like, Nintendo would maybe try to keep, some money aside to keep their big titles going, but they're closing down a number of titles. But the big ones, Mario Kart Wii, Pokemon Battle Revolution, almost all the Pokemon games on DS. So even, like, Black and White 2 are, 1 and 2 are getting shut off. Mario Kart DS, Tetris, Smash Bros. Brawl, both Animal Crossing, City Life, and Wild World. and they called it global termination, which I thought was a bit of a strong word to use. But I just think that's kind of a grave mistake. Like, yeah, the 3DS has been selling well, and but there's still a lot of people out there who play their DSs, and they play those games like probably not gonna say everyone does, but like the Pokemon games are still pretty popular on Nintendo's network. And one thing that kind of makes no sense about it is that they just launched that Pokemon Bank where you can transfer games from your Pokemon game, like DS games, and put them into Pokemon X and Y. So if they're gonna shut it down, like, is there gonna? I just don't understand it. Like, I don't know if that's such a smart idea right now, because there's so many of these consoles still out there, and regardless of how many people actually still play these games online or not, maybe that's why they're doing it. I just think it's a bad idea. I obviously don't have any numbers, but I just want to get your guys' take on that. If you think it's a good idea, if you think it's something that they're doing it in an effort to kind of stimulate sales, or you think it's just they're just being Nintendo and not thinking.
I will divulge your answer first, Chris.
Well, you could be right. They could be trying to drive people towards purchasing Wii U's by shutting down these services, although I doubt that that'll actually happen. But, I don't know.
I would pretty much say that Nintendo is saying, F you, get a Wii U. That should be their catchphrase. No, but, I think it's very, very unfortunate that, they're willing to do that. Microsoft is still giving support to the 360. Sony's obviously giving support to the PS3. You have an install base that's crazy. Nintendo has an install base
Tens of millions.
That's crazy, and you're basically telling them, hey, we're cutting ties with this. I hope you like it. It doesn't really make too much sense to me, because then you're just basically killing off some facet of business there that only helps you, especially given the circumstances of how awesome the Wii U is doing.
Yeah, and I think they just maybe don't care anymore about these systems, which is a mistake. And maybe with the Wii, not so much, because they've made very, I'm not going to say subtle changes to the hardware, but there are a number of Wii's out there that don't have Wi-Fi adapters on them. Like, they can't even connect to the internet. So maybe they just don't care anymore about these systems. But I think until the Wii U had a stronger foothold in the home, like, who knows how many of these people still, like, I know all three of us sitting at this table have a Wii, and I use mine as a coaster. Like, I don't do shit with it. So maybe they finally come to the conclusion that, like, there has to be some type of empirical facts that are and evidence that suggests that this is a good idea. I just didn't know what you guys would think about it because, like Al alluded to with like the 360, if Microsoft's like, yep, next month we're killing live on the 360, like, I'd be ripping fucking pissed.
Riots.
Yeah, like I'd be pretty angry about it. So, and obviously, like, even if they went through with it, obviously it's completely out of our hands, but that would really kind of test my loyalty to Microsoft in terms of purchasing their products.
Oh, sorry.
But no. Please chime in.
So, I feel like if Microsoft actually did that, if they said, like, we're going to shut down Live, which I know it wouldn't happen, if enough people got together and complained, I'm sure they would bring it back. In the case of Nintendo, I feel like it takes a lot from the user community for anything to happen that's not okay with them.
It's like almost like Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also and one thing I kind of neglected to mention is with Xbox Live, I think that there would be some kind of legal ramification because you do have to pay to like access gold. With Wii, it's free, so they're kind of like, it's free, we don't care, we're turning it off. Which, whatever. Like I said, they're entitled to do whatever they want. I just kind of think that it's until there was like the 3DS, like I said, is doing phenomenally well, and maybe they're doing this because it's not worth it for them to keep these servers active. But I think until they had more people out there, purchasing Wii U's and whatnot. Well,
I mean, the curious thing, I guess this is a kind of a twofold thing, is I find it funny, mentioned here Smash Brothers Brawl. Obviously, the new Smash Brothers coming this year. So I find that funny that they're willing to. That's a huge game that relies on internet functionality, Wi-Fi functionality. And I find that interesting is that, I would maybe keep that if I was them, which I'm not. I'd be rolling in a freaking Lamborghini right now if I was making Nintendo money.
Yeah, the Batmobile.
Or the Batmobile, hell yeah, man.
Lamborghini.
But, let's say if I was them, you kill everything else, fine, whatever, but you keep Smash Brothers open, to get people pumped up about the new, Super Smash Brothers game. Because, I mean, I'm sure they're relying heavily on that to sell Wii U's,
Yeah, so I guess we can kind of transition into the state of the Wii U. The Wii U's been out for over a year now. And, the three of us, I hate to throw that kind of like that buzzword out there, like hardcore gamer, but like we all play like a pretty decent amount of games, And for me, it's just like they've made numerous efforts to like kind of court people like us into buying a Wii U. It's just like I just don't care. Like I have no impetus to go out and buy one. It's like I've been on the precipice probably like 2 or 3 times now. Just to
Wind Waker.
Well, the Wind Waker bundle was definitely enticing, but the fact that it only came with a digital code, which I know shouldn't have really bothered me, but like, I don't know. I think there's something kind of sacred about the Zelda games that like I do buy them when they come out for the most part, and I like to have like the hard copy of it. So the Wind Waker bundle, I almost pulled the trigger on, and they've had it on sale numerous times, but it's like there's really no game on the Wii U right now that like really speaks to me.
Do you think Smash Brothers would speak to?
No. And I don't think Smash Bros. Is going to be a system seller. I really don't think it is. Because like, it is a popular title for Nintendo, but it kind of... I don't think people... If you have a Wii U, you might buy Smash Brothers. But I think the kind of thing that happened with Wii U... Like, the only game that I saw that I'm actually fairly interested in is Mario Kart 8. That game looks fucking gorgeous. And that's the thing with Nintendo games that I think that they're kind of getting a pass on right now is... Like, yes, the graphical limitations of that system don't even come close to PS4 or Xbox One. Like, it's not, but we've never seen HD Nintendo games. So like everything they do looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the Wii U and what you think that, why you haven't bought one. Like, what was your own personal choice to kind of not get one? And what could make you go out and buy a Wii U in the foreseeable future?
For me, what didn't entice me was, I already had a really stable library of games for the 360 and PS3 that I just had a backlog of games that I really, really wanted to play. And then there was new games I really wanted to check out. So, when The Last of Us came out, I really wanted to play that, and that game is fucking incredible. There's just so many more enticing games that I was just like, do I have the time to get this system? Like, is it worth my time? The fact too that the tablet, awesome concept. It sounds like a great concept, but in the same regard, like what, you can only have one at a time. Like, I mean,
yeah, it only supports one tablet. The battery life on it is pretty shitty, and it's not the fact. Like for me, like the tablet's kind of annoying, and it's not really that. It is kind of cumbersome to use, but so for you, basically, what you're saying is you don't want a Wii U because it's like, is it like a time thing? Like you just don't have enough time, and you don't want to kind of like spread yourself even more thin, or it's just like there's no games that you want. Like, what would Nintendo, What would Nintendo, like basically what I'm trying to ask is what would Nintendo have to do? Like what would they have to do to get you to buy a Wii U? I think that's the question. That's the $1 million question right there.
And that's a question that they want an answer to from the public. I'm sure, but they won't ever ask it. Super Smash Brothers does go a little bit of a ways for me. I got to see how that works itself out. They always toss out the Mario franchises, the Zelda franchises. I would really just want a franchise that is more adult oriented, that they come out of their development house. Obviously they can make a game. They can make all the Mario games and all the Zelda games have great mechanics, fun gameplay. Come out with something, a little bit darker themed and more maybe adult oriented, like,
So you want new adult IP.
Exactly. Right. I don't think that's really tough to ask because their development houses are incredible in the sense that they come out with really fun, enjoyable games. So, the perfect answer to that, like, give you a perfect example would be, Sony with Naughty Dog. Anything that Naughty Dog comes out with, you damn right, like, that's going to entice me to buy the game. Because every single game on their track record I've played, I have thoroughly enjoyed. And, obviously they have some games that are more, younger audience, like Jak and Daxter and stuff like that. But, I mean, they lead into more adult games like Uncharted and obviously The Last of Us, which is just...
I think Naughty Dog is a good example, but that's also... I think they're kind of like, that's like an isolated incident where it's like they grew up with their audience, whereas Nintendo is kind of stuck in this time frame. But not to get like, I want to hear what Chris has to say.
Sure.
So what would Nintendo have to do to make you buy a Wii U specifically?
I think they need some major title releases like Zelda, Metroid. Smash Brothers is, like you said, it's just not enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that, like I said, that is the $1 million question for Nintendo: is what can they do? And yeah, but for me, I don't really know if I'm ever going to kind of buy into a Wii U because it's not selling well, and at this point, like in the Wii's life cycle, it was selling phenomenally. Obviously, they created artificial scarcity to kind of just put units out there and have them sell out. They put units out there, but the system sold phenomenally. It fucking wiped the floor with PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
Which is crazy to think about,
Yeah, but it's like with Nintendo, I still think that there's a collective of people who are going to buy Nintendo products no matter what, and that's probably who those 5 million people are. Like they're just going to buy it no matter what, or they're going to be a couple uninformed people who went into a store looking for a Wii and walked out with a Wii U. And honestly, that shit happens. But all right. Well, I'm glad we were able to kind of discuss that. Let's move forward. Quick thing, not gaming related, but we've had a few of those tangents already. First 2 seasons of the Pokemon anime are on Netflix now for your streaming pleasure.
Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon!
Just like that.
Yep,
Al actually did the opening for that, if you didn't know.
I did. I'm still waiting on my royalties, Nintendo. Hello?
Totally lying. Alright, what else? What else we got on here? For those of you who enjoy sharing your gameplay with the world and you happen to own an Xbox One, Twitch is coming to Xbox One starting March 11th, and that coincides with the release of Titanfall. So definitely expect to see us playing a shitload of Titanfall, and who knows, we might do some Twitch stuff too if you guys are interested in that kind of thing. But yeah, I think that's huge for Microsoft because I know that's kind of PlayStation 4 in terms of being able to share. I'm not going to say they've necessarily had an advantage, but it's been more publicized. Like, you can do the game DVR stuff with Xbox One, you've had one longer than me. But, are you guys excited for this? Well, I know you don't own an Xbox One, but...
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you'll be using mine, but is this something you see yourself using? Does this speak to you?
Not particularly.
It totally fucking does now.
Yeah,
You don't care?
not really.
Well, I guess, I don't know. For me, I'm excited to be able to finally start using the Xbox One. I can already use it. I can already do like gameplay recordings and stuff like that. But being able to have it integrated right into the system is going to make it a lot easier in terms of just being able to log into Twitch and start doing a stream. I think is going to make the process a little bit easier, and we're going to be able to connect with our fans better and faster, as opposed to having kind of the delay between recording a video, doing some type of producing to it, and then uploading it. So I think this is cool. I think this is a huge step for Microsoft. I think this is going to, not necessarily, I don't think this is going to make people buy Xbox Ones, but I think it's going to kind of level the playing field in terms of what PS4 has been offering. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, it only adds more, more strength to Sony and Microsoft in order to, adding more features only gives more life and more strength to the next gen. So, it's only going to help them.
Yeah, maybe at some point they'll add in YouTube integration. I'm glad they actually got Twitch on board. I heard. Well, I know when they were first discussing it, they were going to try to use Ustream, which I've used Ustream before. It's not a bad like broadcasting system, but I had some issues with it. So I'm glad that they got Twitch on board, which seems to kind of have their shit together. So, but yeah. So I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to talk about. We can talk about some of our upcoming things that we got planned in the pipeline.
Well, there's a couple of things in terms of. There's also some fan questions. So I know there was one comment from Ryan H. who said, we have our Fighting 40s. He said maybe do some type of training segment a la Rocky. So I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe train by playing certain games. I don't know about training in terms of drinking.
Yeah, the drinking thing, trust me, that was the most fun I think we've had. I think it's pretty unanimous. That's the most fun we've had doing a video yet, but that is going to be a one-time a week thing.
Yeah, we can.
I'm not going on a fucking 40 drinking regimen to kind of, but we can definitely try to incorporate more content surrounding the videos we create. If you are interested in seeing how we do these things, then I have no issue trying to document it. But in terms of doing more drinking, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
the body can only handle so much.
Yes.
Another comment that we got was from Joe D. He was looking to have us possibly do some sort of like 24-hour marathon, more specifically maybe with like Final Fantasy VII. So I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
I think we could definitely. I think we could swing some type of marathon. We could have to. That's something we could do over Twitch, or we could do it over YouTube. We can where we can do live events over there. If we
Reminds
so
me.
choose.
Reminds me of like the Jackass marathon that they did.
Yeah, I think doing a 24-hour gaming marathon is cool, and but I think it would be better if the Final Fantasy idea is cool. I think playing an RPG would definitely give you enough time, but maybe if we tried to do something that we knew that we could actually play and finish in 24 hours. Like, I wouldn't want to get to, like, Disc 2 in Final Fantasy 7 and be like, all right, marathon's over. But, no, something that we could do from start to finish, I think would definitely be cool. So people
Yeah, I'm
can see
definitely
it.
down.
So, yeah, no, I definitely, I'm open to that idea of doing some type of, maybe we can make it some type of charity event. We can do, like, a child's play, something, I don't know. Make it a good cause so we're not just killing ourselves for no reason.
Tim has a heart. That's the main part of it.
It might not be visible, but it's there. Trust me.
Oh shit, that's funny. Upcoming projects. What do we got on the pipeline, Tim?
Well, the stuff that you've already seen. Obviously, we have a Let's Play series, which was going to be kind of a smorgasbord of shit coming out. Not literal shit, but what else? We get a few videos. I'm going to be kind of cagey about it. I don't want to kind of blow our load and give away all of our secrets, but
That's what she said.
I guess. I don't want to meet a woman who can blow her load. Literally. That's kind of weird. But no, I'm going to be kind of cagey about it. But no, we got some new stuff coming in the pipeline that I'm excited for. So
Check out Tuesday.
Tuesday we're going to have
Some new stuff.
hopefully some new stuff. I'm excited to do the next episode of Monday Night Mayhem, which will be up. Keep in mind we live in the Northeast, so some of our stuff is weather contingent. So if we get hit with this huge storm, it kind of sets us back. But yeah, pending no natural disasters, we're gonna have some new stuff up this week. So, but yeah, I think unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about.
Any upcoming games that you're looking forward to? Coming out in the near future, Chris.
I'm on the fence about Titanfall.
I know Chris is really excited for that new That's So Raven game. But
Jeez, they still make that stuff.
I fucking hope not.
She has to be our age by now.
She's kind of hot, but that's a different topic.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So hesitancy on the Titanfall.
Yeah, because I'm just terrible at multiplayer shooter FPS games. Yeah, I don't know. I just got to think it over. Unless you guys want to try to convince me.
I honestly, from what I played from the beta, I think you'll like it. I don't think. The thing is, I don't think you give yourself enough credit. Like, you play these games on like you beat Call of Duty 4 on Veteran, did you not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So most of the AI in that is going to be more advanced than any of these like fucking idiots you play on Xbox Live. And like, keep in mind, like there's varying degrees of expertise in any shooter. Trust me, like I'm serviceable at most. Like I'm not by any means a pro. But from Titanfall, it was fun because there's something that's just inherently satisfying about it. Like you. Also, keep in mind that it's not all human players. There's a lot of AI on the field, a lot of bots. So you can kind of sharpen your blade on them. But trust me, there's nothing more satisfying that I've ever played in a first-person shooter than calling out a Titan. And just fucking, like, stepping on people, fucking punning them, fucking shooting, like, 30 rockets at them, just watching their bodies fucking explode and get, like, flung across the map. Trust me, there's very little that's more satisfying that I've played. So I think you would really like it. So it's just kind of, you have to kind of, develop an aptitude. And I think that if you give it enough time, that you'll definitely get better at it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching gameplay videos for it, and it looks really fast-paced, and, I mean, really the only thing that makes me nervous is, like, I don't have the reflexes that some of these people do, and it, like, if you see, like, how fast, like, they're running around and killing people, it's just intimidating.
But you gotta build it up. Like, it's definitely fast-paced, I'm not gonna lie, like, but it's something for me, like, prior to playing Call of, like, I didn't really get into Call of Duty until like Call of Duty 4 came out. So, and even that is pretty mild in comparison. But like the first person shooters that I used to play growing up all the time, like I used to play Counter-Strike, which can be fast or slow paced depending on who you're playing with. But I also grew up playing Quake, Unreal. Like I'm into like I used to play, like I was used to playing these Twitch shooters. So like for me, the whole the whole Titanfall, the allure of it, obviously the Titans are just fucking fun. Like you call down a Titan, but also you're going to be able to customize your Titans. You're going to have different types. So excuse me.
Well, I do love games that you can. I love first-person shooters that you can literally seizure at. So the more instances I can actually have a seizure, I'm totally game.
Just flashing lights.
Yes, I love flashing lights and just tweaking out on my floor.
Yeah. You should play Rez.
Sweet.
I might do it in for you. But yeah, I don't know. I think honestly, I think you'll like Titanfall. I think you just need to just give it some time. It's like I said, it's with any game. Like you don't unless you're really like if you play Call of Duty a lot, you can kind of transition into a Call of Duty game pretty seamlessly. But yeah, when it comes down to Titanfall, like it's still a shooter, and it shares a lot of the same applications. But alrighty, I think we got to wrap it up. So thank you for listening or watching, depending on whatever one you're doing. Our first ever Tap Gaming podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Tapped Gaming. You can go to check out our YouTube channel, check out our website, tappedgaming.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Tim_Utley. Al, where can they follow you on Twitter?
You can follow me on Twitter at Alpocalypse Now. So capital A, capital L, and you got the rest.
Apocalypse. And you can't find Chris anywhere, so he's laughing at you.
Living off the grid, baby. I love it.
So, all right. Thank you for, like I said, once again, thank you for watching or listening, whatever one you're doing. If you're doing both, sweet. And we will see you next week.
Have a good day.